Today I want to share another book with you, and this is one of those books that goes into top favorites. So I'll just tell you straight away, I really love this book. One of my viewers has recommended it a while ago, and I purchased it actually a good month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. I just didn't have time to review it, and so let's dive into it and see what it is about. So this book is by the artist Adriana and it's called Petal. It says here, The World of Flowers Through an Artist's Eye. It's quite different to all the other books I have, but it's super beautiful. So firstly, you'll realize that the pages seem to be of a kind of like purpley, lilac-y, pinky type of a color, and they mostly are. So they're not on a white background as you would expect, but they are on beautiful shades of pink and some other colors, but mostly pinks. So let's look into the content. I would recommend, if you're new to this style of art, or particularly new to Adriana Picker's art, there's some really interesting videos you can find here on YouTube. There is one where she actually talks about this book. She's a very interesting person or character, I find, and I would highly recommend to kind of get familiar with her art. And I think before buying the book, you would also understand more of the connection between the artist and her art. So let's look at the content. So we have rose, legume, daisy, nightshade, orchid, heath, plantain, protea lily, water lily, iris, peony, geranium, magnolia, hydrangea, olive, allium, poppy, ranunculus, passion flower, begonia, camellia, mallow, dogwood, asparagus, primrose, and unusual specimens. So they are divided into the names of flowers, and the art seems to be of a digital nature, so it's very contemporary, a contemporary way of looking at botanical art. But in this case, usually if I hear digital art and botanical art, I'm not really interested. But in this case, her designs are so beautiful. Her finished illustrations are so beautiful that you would want to have like a wallpaper or a print of it to hang in your habitat and to display it, and it becomes part of decor, part of the home design and interior design. So in fact, I think she has designed a lot of like beauty product packaging or some high-end if I'm not mistaken, did she do Jo Malone illustration of some sort or something else? But yeah, basically her designs are quite popular in the high end. So I think you can see that very well. It's very inspiring, even though, like I said, it's very different to your traditional botanical art, but I can totally appreciate the beauty of it. So that's what you get. You get different roses within the rose section, and very generous. The names of these roses. And in fact, look, there is crab apples. So there's like a bouquet or a floral composition, and it is then broken down where she explains that that's blackberry. So these flowers are blackberry, beach rose, so that must be this rose, and then we have, this is obviously more blackberry, and then we have crab apple, and same thing here. So we've got the dainty Bess, which is a rose specimen, and then we have more, so there's Julia's rose, which is Rosa, Julius Rose. So just different types of roses as well. And you can see every page has a beautiful, stunning design. You could use this for color palette inspiration, because you can see how many different greens there are versus the pinks and the lilacs. You could use this for a arrangement inspiration, so like a floral arrangement, or a cluster of how to make it a harmonious cluster. So you can see larger flowers in the center, smaller flowers kind of sprinkled around it. Or indeed here we have the main 3 flowers, a few of the very small buds, and loads of greenery around it. So that is a different way of doing that. And then we have the legume, which I have in the garden. So yeah, I planted these in my garden this year and they came out quite nicely. So you can see there's a little bit of writing. I haven't read all of it, but I have to admit I have flipped through the pages a number of times just because they're so beautiful. This book definitely is a stunning book to display in your, like, you know, those pretty looking coffee table displays. And it just looks good. It's just so beautiful. I've seen this plant, jade wine, in this color actually in the Cambridge Botanical Gardens, and I've never seen anything that stunning. The color is the purest turquoise you can imagine. It's literally like a glowing turquoise in real life. And when we think about it, you know, how is this even possible? And I think the stamen was like a close to darker color. Yeah, so basically that is the layout of the book. I'll just give you a quick flip through so that you can see more. It is filled with content. I don't know how many years worth of content this is, because there is a huge amount and everything is just super beautiful. I love the colors. I love the fact that it's so different. It's not on a white background, yet still the illustrations are popping because of the colors. And it's got a style on its own. It's definitely a very recognizable style. Here this looks like artichokes, but it's not. It's the flowers that usually are within the bouquets. I had this one a few times. This one looks also quite similar to artichoke. I'm sure it's a family, the same kind of plant family. And then we have some lilies. Irises. I love irises. It is a great variety. And peonies, of course, my favorite flower. I'll do a slow flip through this chapter. Isn't this amazing? I mean, I'd love to hang some of these as a print in my bedroom or something. And geraniums, I love geraniums as well. What an interesting representation of geraniums. The colors, very beautiful. It's almost that the leaves are more popping than the actual flowers. So the flowers are painted in a subdued color palette, whereas the leaves have a bit more of a pop to them, more detail in color. That's an interesting geranium. So a lot of different varieties. Magnolia and so on. Hydrangea, obviously, another one I love. Different types of hydrangeas. Lilacs. Very wide range of flowers. Let's go to the asparagus. That's interesting. So asparagus seems to be the family name. And then, oh yeah, so you get information on the history of the flowers. So like, yeah, asparagus was a regular in the medical plots of old French monasteries, and you get a bit of the history here. So if you are a little bit nerdy and love information like I do, you would really enjoy this, because it's got enough information to learn something you didn't know before, but it is also mostly concentrated on the stunning artwork. And so this is all still asparagus here, unusual specimens. So if I just flip through, this is the last of the chapter. And I think you got a good idea about this stunning book. It has definitely become one of my favorites, and it was published in 2020 by the looks of it. It's a new book, so last year this stunning book came to life. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and the links as always will be down below if you're interested.